this out before Mother's Day, but I didn't have the experience that I had on Mother's Day weekend until I had it. And I was blessed and fortunate enough to be invited out to Kennedy's Angels Gala. And being there, Kennedy's Angels is an organization that makes dresses out of wedding dresses. They make smaller dresses for babies that don't make it home from the hospital. Mothers who are expecting and mothers who are in labor and the various situations where the birth does not go the way they plan, and that life is cut way too short. And so in honoring those babies, Kennedy's Angels, they make dresses for the babies to be buried in. And it's a beautiful outpouring of love. But listening to these mothers who have to go through these situations, it touches not just your heart, but your humanity. Because if we think of how we may carry something, we may strive to do something, we may take the weight and try to push to make something happen in life, and to think that we could get to that place where we're going to see the fruits of our labor. And it's not just labor, it's life in this situation. And what struck me so much is how these mothers who had to overcome such a loss didn't see the value in their own lives. They were stuck in only realizing the value that was lost in the life. That they had to try and reclaim their own value of who they were, because their purpose seemingly had been lost. It made me think of Mary. And actually, Mary, not at the end, but at the beginning, when she's at the wedding, and here comes her son. And he's not alone. He comes in with all of his boys. He came with a few disciples that he had just touched, and they decided to follow him. And here he comes late to the wedding with his boys. Now, that was modern day. I think we could see how that may be an issue. Mom's invited you to a wedding and you show up late, and not just late, but you come in with your boys, with a little swagger maybe. But here comes Christ. And what does Mary do in that situation? She asks him, she tells him, hey, we don't have any more wine. Just like a mom, you want to come in here late, make yourself useful. Go get us some wine because we've ran out. But she asks him to do something. And deeper than that, she's asking him to do something that she knows he can do, but nobody else does. And isn't that just like a mother? That she can see the value of her child, see the gifts of her child before anyone else can. And although Christ in the moment says, woman, my time has not yet come, he still obeys what she's asking him to do. In our lives, we have a value. Outside of the things that we're doing, outside of the plans that we've made, the decisions that we're deciding to pursue, the goals, the wants, the desires, outside of those things, we have an inherent, innate value that God has given us. And even if our lives are taken too soon, the value of life still exists in God's realm. Because God designed us and knew us before, what does the Bible say? Before we were even in our mother's womb. And it's a powerful testimony that a mother can say, I lost my child, but I have reclaimed my value and my purpose because I know that God has made me for His glory and what He's calling me to do. I don't know what gifts you have. I don't know what things are hovering over your life that seem too big. I don't know what you've been through that maybe has left you feeling devalued in yourself, not worth enough, not having the same value that you think in your memory that you once had. I'm not sure of your situation, but I am positive as you are living and breathing that you still have a purpose, that God still values exactly who you are. In fact, He's humbled you, and that's exactly where He wants you. To where we've decided, you know what, the things I want aren't so important to me anymore. Well, that's a value in itself, because that's one step closer to what God has for you. You say, yeah, I don't even trust this life anymore. I don't trust my own decision making because it's been so bad. Well, that's value, because that's one step closer to where God wants you to be, to where you're not trusting yourself and what you think you want, but now you're open and humble to hear what the Spirit has for you. When we can turn away from our striving and our stress, and we can say, Lord, whatever you have, I'm willing to obey. Maybe it's just to serve someone. Maybe it's just to be kind to someone. Whatever good you can find to do, God will not only be there with you, He will aid you, He will help you, and here it is, He will lift you up to places you never knew you could be. As I watched the women at that gala who had lost their children but had reclaimed the value in their lives through giving back, through doing good, through trying to help others who are going through a similar situation. Maybe you've overcome something. Maybe you haven't, but you've gone through it. How can you help someone else who's going through a similar situation figure their situation out, humble themselves, and reclaim the value and purpose God has for them? These are the good fruits of our labor. This is how we take the world's nonsense and we turn it into God's glory. This is how we go from chaos and we give it to Christ. This is what God has for you today. Are you ready to receive it?